This
So,
conference will now be recorded.
okay, can anyone recall what we discussed in the previous session?
document.
Yeah, what do you mean by document? It is a runtime
It's a
entity, right?
runtime entity.
Yes, it's a runtime entity while executing. It carries same as like it holds the data, right? Holds the data or payload. Payload means so guys these technical words are very important like a document, a payload, a data, okay, runtime, execution. All these words are very important to know. Once you enter into real time, frequently we will use these jargons. Okay, real time, in the real time world we will use only technical words. These technical words are very important. Okay, payload means nothing but a data, right? Is not
Uh, Payload is data that can be executed, right?
exactly. So data, yes, that can be executed, which means that data only, right? Payload means
Uh,
nothing but a data, right? Data. And what else we discussed? We discussed about logs, right? Yes. So what do you mean by logs?
Results of that executed request, responses, basically.
Result of the execution detail. Execution. Okay, execution, right? Result of the execution. So here it gives the detail, complete details of the execution. Okay, in a backend, what are the log what are the conditions we are applying, logics and everything in a so we have a complete detailed can be see under the logs, right? How many types of logs we have?
Two
We
types.
have two
Two
types. Very
types.
good. What are they?
Shape level logs, process level logs.
Okay, shape level logs, shape level logs, and then second one is process level logs.
Process level
So
logs.
what do you mean by shape level logs and what do you mean by process level logs? Yes, yes,
Shape
Prasanna.
level we can say about the shapes, what are the shapes and execution. Process level, the whole entire process, all the component shapes including.
Very good. So shape level means on a particular shape, what is the conditions applying, what are the logics are applying, complete details about the shape's execution. Okay, we will call it as a shape level logs. And coming to process level logs, in a complete process from starting to ending, the complete logs we can say it as a process level logs, right? So this is my component explorer. So which this is my folder, we are working under the this folder, right? Processing employee data. Okay, here you can see, right? So now let me save and execute the process. How we can run the process? Here we have a test, right? We have a test. Click on test, right? Select the atom, and say okay. Now it is getting executed, right? It is getting executed. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, you can see here, right? You can see the green color bold marks indicates what it is indicates.
Successful execution.
Very good. This green color bold marks indicating that the particular shape is executed successfully, right? And you can see here we have two types of logs. Test result. Okay, what are the logs? Here we can see this is called as a shape level logs. Okay, if I click on the start shape, you can see the logs. If I click on the end shape, you can see the logs. Okay, these are all called the shape level logs, right? So you can see the complete view. What do you mean by shape source data? What
It's
do you mean by
data
shape
within the
sources?
previous shape.
Result.
Previous shape.
Very good.
Result.
So the data which is coming from its previous shape. Okay, here you can see the data, right? Here we can see the data or a document which is coming from its previous shape. This is the start shape is generating one empty document. Why this empty document is generating it? Why
While
this
selected empty document, we have selected for that no data.
sorry? Okay, start shape with no data type will create an
Yes.
empty document. Why this
Yes.
empty document is necessary? Why empty document is creating?
The
Yes,
default it's taking
yes, by
for
default it will creating. Why? What is the reason behind that? Yes, anyone?
Shape source are not same, that is why.
Sorry.
No.
The unique quality of node start shape with node type. Yesterday I know taken almost 10 minutes to explain that why we are taking start shape with node data type. Why, what is the reason behind that, why it is generating empty document, everything I explained you, right guys, yesterday? Hmm? Yes or no?
Yes.
Why we are using empty document?
If it is
How many?
empty, if it is empty data, it will not get executed. If it is an empty, like next we can take any data process shape with any no data. That process will not,
No
that
data
shape
type.
will not get executed. Uh,
Okay, okay, you are correct, but
uh,
you need to
uh,
frame that answer in a proper way. Okay,
yes.
so I will tell you. I will tell you. Okay, so the unique quality of a start shape with the no data type. Okay, no data type will
An empty
creates the
document.
an empty document, right? An empty document. Why it is empty document is necessary, or why it is creating an empty document? To make sure the process,
Execute.
to make sure the process will get executed. Okay, will get executed. Why it is no why this empty document or any document is required? So if there is no document, if there is no data or no document, data or no document acting on the shape sheet, on the shape. Okay, that particular shape will not get executed. Okay, so to make sure the process will get executed, the empty document, the start shape with no data type will creates an empty document. If there is no data is acting, for example here there is no data, okay, there is no data or no document is acting on this shape, then it's not going to be executed. It's not going to be executed. Okay, I will give you let me give you one more example. Let's say I am taking one any data process shape, okay, for your understanding. Okay, I'm taking this some, okay, and here I'm passing it. Okay, let me save it and execute, run the process, test it. If there is, so here the empty document, to make sure if there is no document or no data is acting on this, the process will not get started, right? Okay, the process will not get started. To make sure the process execution started, this starts with no data type, creates an empty document. This empty document will move forward. This empty document, whatever the empty document or created over the start with no data type, this empty document move forward and it will get executed. Okay, and here it will move forward and it will get executed. Okay, if there is no data acting on this, then it is not going to be executed. Okay, now I will take this shape, let me save and run it. Now focus here. Okay, now it is getting executed. Why this process call shape not executed? You can see this start shape executed, this data process shape executed, and stop shape is executed. Why this process call shape is not executed?
We are not connected, maybe not
Not
connected.
connecting with it.
Very good, very good. So very good. So in the Boomi, very very important one. Okay, any shape will get executed, then when it is getting executed,
Yes, yes,
when
போய்
when
வச்சிருக்கா.
when the
Last நீ
particular shape
வந்துருக்கீங்க. அப்புறம்
shape directly or
அதெல்லாம் தெளிவா இருக்குன்னா நான் ஒத்துக்கிறது வச்சுங்க.
okay Kumar, can you mute yourself if you are not speaking? Okay, so when particular shape directly or indirectly, okay, indirectly needs to be connected with the connected with the start shape. Okay, connected with the start shape. If it is directly or indirectly connected with the start shape, then only the particular shape will get executed. If not, then it is not going to be executed. Okay, now clear till here? Anyone have any questions or any doubts till here? Yeah, before I move forward.
No.
Okay, so here now, so we are taking start shape and end shape. Stop shape is right. Stop shape. Stop shape. Stop shape means it indicates the
Stop the
end of
process
the
or
flow.
end stop process.
Yes, end of the process or flow, right? So start shape indicates the start of the flow and end shape is indicates the end of the flow. Stop shape is indicates the end of the flow. So now in between, what are the integration we are developing, we will between them, right? We will take start shape, then we will take what are the connection you want to connect with. Okay, you want to connect with any data, or you want to connect with any shape, or you want to connect with any type of the particular shapes or connections, you can connect with them and you can do the actions, right? Okay, so now what we will do, we will try to connect with, so in we will develop one process. Okay, so we will do on-prem to on-premise integration. Okay, on-prem to on-prem integration. So what do you mean by on-prem to on-prem integration here? On-prem to
Local
Connect
system
on-prem,
to
connect with
local
the third
system.
party application.
source
On
and the target both are hosted on, right?
on
So
On-prem
and
application.
yes, target both are on premise, right? So we will try to do what we will do, we will read the employee data. Okay, task is read the employee data, emp data, whatever may be the data. Let's say read the employee data. We are simply we will take employee data from the local disk. Okay, and from the local disk insert it into the database. Okay, database. Again it is a local database. Okay, if you want to do cloud database systems, you can use, but for general I will for training purpose I'm explaining you on premise to on premise, right? So this here the local disk means local on premise, and here again database is a local. So we will take the employee data from the local disk and we will convert it, and we will transfer it into the database, or we will convert the data and we will send it into the database, insert into the database. Okay, this is simple task we will try to do. Okay, before that I want to explain you the profiles. What do you mean by profile? Profile. What do you mean by profile? Anyone? Yes.
Structure of the data.
Okay. So profile is a component. Profile is a component which helps to define the structure of the data, right? Structure or metadata 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 about the data, right? See, so it is a structure of the data or metadata of the data. So what do you mean by profile? So if you remember, when I am discussing the component, we have different components, right? We have a different components. How we can say components? If you click on here, you can see the profile. Okay, we have a in Boomi, we have 5 types of profiles. In Boomi, we have 5 types of profiles. That's fine. Okay, in general, so if you want to define anything, okay, for example, here have a data. Okay, you are dealing with orders data. Okay, orders data. You are working with Amazon. Amazon collecting the orders data from the customer. So customer giving all the details, like he's giving his name, phone number, name, okay, phone number and email address. All these details he is giving. Okay, if he is giving all the details, how it will for example, in name we have first name and last name. In name, phone number, let's say you have mobile number and landline number. Let's say in email you have two emails, like a email is there and a Gmail is there. Like that is entering the billing address and shipping address. Okay, you need to find all the difference. What do you mean by billing address? What do you mean by shipping address? Okay, go and search in Google. You will get what is the difference between billing address and the shipping address. Okay, so like that we have different fields. Okay, if you don't have a proper structure, how we will find out the what do you mean, what is the full name of the customer, or and in out of that what is the first name and last name and phone number. In the phone number might he have a mobile number and a landline number. So if you don't have a proper structure to that particular data, then it is very difficult to find out, right? Same way, like we have a schema, right? What schema is nothing but a structure. Okay, structure of the body. Schema means structure of the body. So if you don't have a proper structure to that body, then it is very difficult to find out, right? Structure of the body. So in Boomi we have a 5 types of body. So after the description, whatever you can see in the metadata is going to be a structure of the body, is a profile. Okay, in the description, like in the description you are getting all the name, phone number, email, billing address, shipping order, all the details you are getting in a description, right? Whatever the description you can see, it is a metadata. Metadata contains the all the details of the customer. Okay, so now all the details of the payload. It is kind of payload means, okay, payload means the what I said here. Payload means data, right? Payload means data, the data which is holding. Okay, that but data which we are creating a one structure is nothing but a profile. Profile is a component in Boomi which defines that structure or metadata of the data. Okay, so in Boomi we have 5 types of profiles. Okay, Boomi will support the Boomi will supports the 5 types of profiles. 5 types of profile structures. What are they? 5 types of profile structures. One is XML, JSON, and database,
Flat file,
flat file, yes,
EDI.
flat file and EDI. Okay, these are all 5 types of structure. Okay, the 5 types of profile structures Boomi is going to be supported. Okay, So we will discuss each and every type, how we can going to be create, how it there looks like, and how it looks like, and how we can find out them, everything we can see. Okay, for example, let's say XML is sales. If you are doing integration, okay, if you want to do integration, SFDC to database. Okay, if you want to do integration between these two, we are using Boomi as a middleware tool. Okay, Boomi as a middleware tool. So we are doing integration. So now here Boomi wants to get the data. Let's say here from our customers data, Boomi wants to pick up. Okay, so here if the data does not have a proper structure, how the Boomi will pick up the data? Okay, here the customer's data is there. If the data does not have a proper structure to that data, it is very difficult to read the data, right? So for that, Boomi, Boomi will support the five types of profiles. Okay, five types of profile structures. What are they? One is XML profile, XML profile, and a JSON profile, and a flat database profile, and a flat file profile, and EDI profile. So these are all five types of profiles Boomi is going to be supports. Okay, what do you mean by XML? What do you mean by XML?
Extension markup language.
Extensible markup language. Very good. So here, very important, very important note. So after the description, please try to understand what exactly I am trying to explain. Okay, the after the description, whatever, okay, whatever you write, okay, you can see is metadata. So for example you are pulling the data from the Salesforce. Okay, whatever after description, after pulling the data, whatever the data you can see is a metadata. Okay, like let's say from the Salesforce you are getting some details like a name, phone number, email address, billing address, shipping address, all the details you are seeing. The description, okay, the name, let's say name is Pawan is a metadata. Phone number, let's say 123456 is a phone number. That 12345 is a metadata. Email pawan@gmail.com, that mail id is the metadata. So whatever the description you can see, that is a metadata. Okay, that is a metadata. I will give you one example. For example, okay, I will give you one example. For example, uh, okay, if you are getting employee id, okay, if from the source, if you are trying to get the data, like employee id. So this employee id is the column, okay, but the data type is metadata. Okay, so here employee id is there. For this employee id, if you are getting any id like so 1001100, so what you are, if you are getting that id is called as a metadata. Okay, this employee id name, it's not a metadata. This is a id. Okay, for this we are seeing the some description, right? Let's say you are seeing some description like 1001, this is a id, or 1002, this is a id. So what this is called as a metadata. This 1001, 1002, 1003, this ids are called as a metadata. Okay, the data type is metadata. Okay, please don't get confused. Understand the concept. Okay, understand the concept, what I am trying to explain. Okay, see here, for example, id is there. Okay, in the id, if you are getting this number, this is a metadata, but this is a structure of the data. Okay, this is a structure of the data. Under this we are getting a description, some description, that is called as a metadata. Clear? Okay, so why these structures are important means, let's say when we are trying to achieve an integration, let's say whenever you are trying to achieve an integration, or whenever you are trying to read the data from the source application systems, or whenever you are trying to insert the data into our target application system, here one thing you need to try to understand is So the data, okay, how the data is structured, or how the data is requested, look like representing, how the data is representing that data structure or representing, we have different types of profiles. Okay, how the data is, while pulling the data or reading the data from the source, how it is structured. Let's say here you are trying to, you are trying to do the integration, right, between Salesforce and database. How the data is structured, and how the data, how the data is structured over here, and how the data is, it is accepting which format of data it is going to be accept, and how the data is, populated over here. So you need to understand that structure of the data and the type of the data types we need to structure. Okay, in Boomi, it is going to be support 5 types of profiles. Okay, one is the XML, another is JSON, database, flat file, and EDI. So basically it is one of the oldest extensible markup language. And anyone, what do you mean by JSON? Anyone?
JavaScript notation.
Very
Simple script. JavaScript object notation.
Notation.
very good. Java script object notation.
Notation.
Very good. So, and database means database. Okay, database profile is nothing but a database only. Okay, the database, whatever the database which we are, working with, all the database will accept only the database type of profiles. Okay, and flat file means, like, you have a CSV. Do you have idea about CSV? Comma separated variables. Let's say, where it is, yeah, it is a flat file. We will call it as a flat file profile. So the elements, the variable is separated with a comma. Okay, let maybe the whatever maybe the this, so comma separated variable. So we are separating with the variable with a comma, right? This is called as a flat file profiles. Okay, and EDI profiles. EDI means, anyone have any idea? Electronic data interchange.
Interchange.
Yes. So electronic data interchange, basically EDI profiles are used to do the, integration between B2B integrations. What do you mean by B2B?
Business to
Business
business.
to business.
Yes, very good. So if you want to do integration between business to business, then we use the database, EDI profiles. Okay, all these profile types are used to for A to A integrations. What do you mean by A to A?
Application to application.
Very good. Application to application integrations. Okay, so in our course we will discuss all these 4 types. Okay, we are not going to discuss about E to E, EDI profiles. Okay, it is a different concept. Okay, anyhow we are not going to discuss. So in our course we will completely focus on these 4 types of profiles. Okay, so now we'll discuss about XML profile. XML means, so while creating, it is one of the oldest language, which is invented in the early of software, in the 80s or the 70s, when the software is established. That time the XML is, introduced. Extensible
Markup language.
extensible markup language, right? So see, whenever if you are creating this profiles, you need to, you need to follow some rules. So while creating the XML profile, we need to follow some rules. While creating the JSON profile, we need to follow some kind of rules. Okay, so we'll focus on the XML. Okay, XML language. Okay, XML language. So XML means, it is a, please focus here, these are all very important rules. Okay, while creating the profile, XML profiles or XML files, so we need to follow some thumbnails. Okay, thumb rules, some of the rules are there. We need to follow those rules. Okay, we'll explain you, I will explain you those rules. Just focus here. Okay, it is a tag based language. Okay, tag based language. So without okay, it contains the XML profile or XML file will start with the root element. Okay, root element or root field, root element. Okay, so without root element, there is no XML file. Okay, there is no XML file. If you want to create any XML file, the XML file should start with a root element. Okay, what are the elements? For example, root elements. Okay, it is a tag base. As I mentioned, it is like this. We will enclose with the tags, some tags. Okay, here we can put as the root. Okay, here this is a root. Okay, this is a root element. We will call it as a root element. Okay, whatever name you can follow, like root means this is a root element. Okay, so under root element, we can create multiple or n number of multiple child elements. Okay, so this is my root element, right? This is my root element. Under this root element, I can create n number of child elements like this. Okay, let's say first name. Okay, and like this, and first name, like this. Okay, let's say my first name is Pavan. Okay, and the last name I can create like this, last name. Okay, and the last name. Okay, so here let's say my last name is Kalyan. Like this I can create. So under this is my root element or parent element or main element. So root element or parent element. Under root element or parent element, we can create n number of child elements, sub elements or child elements. We will call it as a element or field. Okay, this is my root field or root element. These are my sub element or child element. Okay, under this I can create n number of child element. Like let's say I can create like a location is a Hyderabad. Okay, and here one more important point. Every open element must have a closed element. Every open element must have the closing element. What does it mean? See, this is my open element. Okay, this is my open element. So for this open element, there must be a closing element. Okay, so there must be a closing element. If it is without closing element, it is considered as a invalid XML. So again, one more important note here. The closing element should be closed with a forward slash. Okay, the closing element will be closed. Okay, will be closed with the forward slash. See, this is slash we need to use. Okay, with this slash we need to close the closing element. Okay, so how we can close here? So here we have a root element. Okay, this root element, this is open element, and this is a closing element, right? So here you need to close like this. And first, this is open element, first name is, and this is a closing element. This closing element means with we can close with the forward slash like this. Okay, you can close with like this. So this is a XML file. We will call it as a XML profile or XML. Clear? And one more important note. These elements, okay, elements are case sensitive. What do you mean by case sensitive?
Uppercase, uppercase.
Uppercase, lowercase should be correct.
Very good. So case sensitive means, for example, if you are writing first name like this, okay, if you are closing that element with like this, it is it will throws an error. It is not a valid XML. So whatever the naming conventions you are following over here, you must replicate those same as in the closing element. Okay, like this. Okay, so because this is a case sensitive, XML profile is a case sensitive. And one more thing, so for example, if you are first name is there, you should not give any spaces in between last name in between, in the open and closing element you should not mention any spaces, because it throws an error. And in open and closing elements should not
Special
should
character.
not have special character, special character or any space. Okay, you should not have any special character on space, because it will throws an error. Okay, and how you know whether it is a valid XML or not, how we can find out? So by seeing this we can say, okay, this is looks like good. For me it's looking good, I don't have any error on this, right? But until and unless if you process it, or until and unless if you uh, process, or if you are facing any issue, you will get to know, right? You will not get to know any error is or not. So for that we'll have a lot of online validators, like XML validators we have in the online. So we'll go there and just paste your profile. This is my XML profile, and paste it there, and you can search. Okay, so now you can paste it and just validate it. Just validate it. Valid. Okay, it's not looking good to me. Let me go with another. Okay, I will go with this. Okay, so here I will look. It is saying that so choosing last cannot have attribute or invalid tag. So it is saying that it have a some issue is there. So but you can, if you see here, it is by seeing this you can see it is looks like right, it looks looking no good for, and we can say okay, it is a valid XML. But when we test in the online, it is throwing in some error. Okay, closing tag last cannot have attribute or invalid starting. Okay, now where you can see here it is root, and you can
Location.
say here it is
Location.
location does not have a proper closing, right? And again
Last
one more
name.
here you can see here we have a space, right? As I mentioned, it is a case sensitive. Now you can see here it is a valid XML. Okay, it is a valid XML. If I give space here, let me give the space, and it'll go here and also space. Again you can see validate it. It is saying boolean attribute name is not allowed. So it is taking as a boolean, so these booleans are not allowed. If I close this, and if I cancel this space, now you can see it is a valid XML. Like this we can create the XML profiles. Okay, like this we can create the XML profiles. Okay, anyone have any questions or any doubts? So while creating the XML profiles or XML files, you must follow some thumb rules is there. So it is a tag based, comment based language. Tag based or comment based language. Comment means, see here it is a tag, one tag, or comment, tag or comment. It is a tag based or comment based language. Okay, XML file with start with a root element or a parent element. This is my root element. Okay, under root element we can create n number of child elements. We will call it as a child elements or sub elements. Okay, so each open element must have a closing element. Okay, here root is a close open element, and here this is a closing element. Okay, this is my open element and this is my closing element. Each open element must have a closing element. Again, here the closing element must be closed with a forward slash. Okay, we can close with this forward slash. And these elements are case sensitive. These are all case sensitive. What are the open element you must know, writing here, you need to replicate the same name here. Okay, what are the naming convention you are following here, you need to follow same as it is here also, because these are all the case sensitives. Okay, and open and closing should have a special character, or if you are giving any special characters or anything, it going to be throws an error. Okay, because you should not follow any, you not give any special characters or anything in between the names. Okay, clear? Anyone have any questions or any doubts on this? Yes,
Clear, Pravan.
perfect. Anyone have any doubts? Please raise your hand and ask the questions, because it is very very important. Okay, not only in perspective of Bhumi. Okay, if you are working in Bhumi, or if you are working on integration world, not in perspective of integration, I am talking about complete IT. Okay, if you go anywhere, if you are working with the Salesforce, okay, you need to learn the XML. If you are working with any database, you need to learn the database profiles. Okay, if you are working with some testing tools or some, the data which you are getting, it needs to be have some XML format or structure, right? So this structure is very very important, not only in perspective of integration or Bhumi. In the IT world, these structures are very very important, because it indicates the structure of the data. Okay, it giving some proper structure to that data. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear.
Yes.
Okay, so now it is clear. Then, so let's say we have a data, right? Now we have a data. So we have a data, or we have a structure. How we can import that structure into Bhumi, and how we can process it, how we can transform the data, and how we can send it into the target system. Our task is, okay, here this is our task, right? So what is the task? Where it is, read the employee data from the local disk, which is an XML format. Okay, XML format, and it is transform or change the data from XML, transform the XML to database, and insert the data into database. Okay, this is our task. Again here we need to take some conditions. Okay, if the employee location is Hyderabad, we need to say, no, we need to, if it is employee location is Hyderabad, then only we need to insert the data into database. Other than Hyderabad, we need to reject. Okay, reject them. Other than Hyderabad, the employees, reject them, or else we can reject them, or we can send it into another systems. Okay, clear? This is our small task we need to do. Okay, in real time also, this is a task we are going to be perform. Okay, so our task is read the data from the local directory. Okay, local disk means local directory. Okay, local directory, which is in a XML format, and transform the data from XML to database. And if the location is Hyderabad of employee, then those employees needs to be insert into database. Other than Hyderabad location, candidates needs to be rejected. Okay, this is small task we need to create. So now how we can create the task. Okay, we'll go to Bhumi. In Bhumi, so to connect with any application system, which type of connector I need to use? So we, as I mentioned, we have a three types of
Process.
shapes. One is the connecting type, execute, and logic. So now I want to connect with my local system. So if you want to connect with the local system, you need to go with the disk. Disk is nothing but whenever if you want to connect with any local directories, to pull the data or push the data from your local disk, from your locals, then we can use the connector called as a disk. Okay, again, before I explain the disk connection, disk, okay, which is used to connect to the local directories to read the data, or write the data into the local directories. Okay, local directories. So whenever if you want to read the data from the local directories, okay, local directory means this is my local file system, right? This is my local file system. From I want to read the data from here, or else I want to push the data into my local directories. This is my local systems. Then we can use the disk. Okay, disk is used to read the data or write the data into your local directories. Okay, so and one more thing, so very important note, very important note here, please note it down. Okay, so the disk okay, the disk connection or disk connector only read the data or write the data where the, okay, from the, see, so whenever if you want to read the data or write the data by using disk connector, we can perform those actions only in the place where the atom is installed. Okay, we can read the data or we can no, we can read the data or we can write the data only when the atom is installed. When the atom is installed particular system, from the system only we can read the data or we can write the data. Okay, I will explain you later, I will explain you, but understand it. Okay, by using connector, disk connector, we can read or write the data only where the atom is installed. Okay, okay, where the atom is installed, atom is installed. Okay, this by only read or write the data from the directories where the atom is installed. Okay, very important note, very important note. Okay, so here, come here, we'll go to Boomi. Now connector shape, so use connector shape to get the data into or out of the process. If you want to get the data, or if you want to push the data from into Boomi or from the Boomi, then we can use this connect. Most process have one gate connector, okay, and one or more send connectors. Okay, that's fine. The action we are getting and we are sending, so that actions we can perform. The connector shape uses combination of predefined connection and operation components. Here, very important note, again, very important note. Okay, every connector will leverages two components. Okay, two components. Connection connection means which is responsible for, okay, so for example, if you want to connect with any application system, whether you want to connect with the Salesforce, or whether you want to connect with the database, whether you want to connect with any disk, so you need to establish the connectivity, right? You need to create one bridge between Boomi to that particular application system to travel the data, right? So if you see here where, yeah, here if you are doing integration between Salesforce to database, from, if you want to pull the data by using Boomi, you want to pull the data from the Salesforce. Here you need to establish one connectivity, right? From Boomi to SFDC. To pull the data or push the data, we need to create one connectivity. That connectivity can be established with the help of connection. Okay, with the help of, connection, help of connection. Okay, with help of connection, we can establish the connectivity. Okay, to pull the data or push the data to any third party application system, we can establish establish the connectivity to pull the data or to push the data. Okay, connectivity to any third party application system application system to pull the data, to pull or push the data. So if you want to pull that from Boomi, if you want to pull the data or push the data, so by using connection component we can establish the connectivity to that third party application system, and we can create the action, we can create that bridge. Okay, the second one is the second component is operation. Okay, operations. So operation is nothing but, so for example, you establish the connectivity. Okay, you establish the connectivity by using connection component, okay, from Boomi. Now what are action you want to perform, whether you want to pull the data or to want to push the data, or you want to update the data, or you want to upsert the data, or you want to delete the data, what action you want to perform. By using operation, it is responsible for the action which you want to perform on the data. The action, or okay, the action which you want to perform, which we want perform on the data, in the integration. Okay, so the action, what are the action you want to perform. Let's say if you want to pull the data, or else if you want to push the data, or else if you want to delete the data, or if you want to update the data. Okay, what are the action if you want to perform. The actions can be performed with the help of operation component. So in Boomi each connector have a two components. If you see here, connection component and operation component. So if you see here, choose, if you see like choose, it is a component, which means it is a component. Which choose means already created components can be reused, right? I told you that components are reusable entity in Boomi. Once it is created, we can reuse across the process, right, across the complete accounts. Okay, now you can see here connection and operation. As I mentioned, we in every connector have a two components. One is the connection, another is the operation. So by using connection, we can establish the connectivity, we can use the we can create the connectivity to the third party application system. Okay, with the help of operation component, we can perform the data. Okay, what are the action which we want to perform, we can perform on the data by using operation. What are the operations we want to perform, we can do by using operations component. So now can we create a disk, can we create a disk of connection. So if you want to reuse already existed connections, from here you can choose and we can select that. Okay, already existed connections you can, or else if you want to create a new connection, you can create from here. Here you have a plus icon, right? If you click on this plus button, now you can see here disk is a component. Now disk is a new disk connection, right? Let me give the disk. Okay, disk connection. Giving these naming conventions are very very important, guys. Please go through, like, follow the proper naming conventions. Okay, disk connection. Let me save it. Now you can see here, disk connection is created. Now as I mentioned, connection is a component, connection is a component, right? Connection is a component, right? Now see here, connect every component have a revision history, yes or no? Every component have a revision history. You can see here that no, every component have a revision history, and every component have a unique id called a component id. Yes, every component have a component id, and every component have a revision history. Okay, now you can see here, so this is a directory means, so now we need to configure the, this directory means, what do you mean by directory? Anyone, what do you mean by directory?
Where all
Direct,
data is stored or something.
yes, directory is nothing but a path where we are trying to store the data. Let's say I will go here. Okay, I will create one new folder here, new folder. Okay, and I will name it as a practice. Okay, in this whatever the date, let me, I will create one more notepad. I will take a one more notepad. Here I can give my, this is my file, right? This is my, okay, let me cancel it, let me take a proper, okay, this is my XML file. Okay, let me save it, save as. Okay, go to here and practice, come here. Okay, temp data dot xml, giving again one more important note, guys, please no, please focus here. Whenever if you are saving any files, okay, in your local directories, you need to save with the extensions dot xml. If you are, it is a xml file, you need to mention dot xml. If it is a JSON file, you need to mention the dot json. If it is a flat file, you need to mention dot csv. So giving these extensions are very very important while saving the files in your local directories. And save type as all files. Okay, save it as a all files. And employee data dot xml, my file is xml file, that's why I'm giving extension as dot xml. Okay, if it is a json file, I can give it dot json. If it is a flat file profile, then I can give as a dot csv. Okay, like this, giving these extensions are very very important while saving these files. Okay, now save, file is saved. Okay, go to your directory. This is my directory, right? This is my directory, this is my path. Okay, let me copy this path. This is your directory. Okay, this is your directory or path, where copy this and come to Bhumi. Here it is asking the directory, I can paste this my directory, right? I can paste the directory. So let me save it. So now the connection is created. Now connection is created. How we can say when a connection is created or not? Okay, here come here batch 8. Okay, you can see connectors, expand it, and disk. Okay, you can see that disk connection is created. This is my disk connection. Let me close it. Okay, now if you click on this component, if I open this, now you can see here this is my directory and this is the connection. Okay, so it is a connection is a component. Okay, so now fine. So now here you can see here, so connection, and here you can see here some kind warning symbol it is giving. What configure means, do we configure everything? Do we configured everything? So here we configured a connection. Do we configured this operation? Do we configured in operation here? No, right? We haven't configured this operation, that's why it is showing is a configure. Please configure like this. So this disk, okay, I can give the naming convention here. Read data from disk. Okay, now say okay, now you can see here read data from disk and disk connection. So this first name is indicating the connection and the second name is indicating that operation. Click on this configure. Now you can see here operation. Okay, if you want to reuse the operation component, you can reuse. Okay, or else if you want to create a new operation, you can click on this and you can create the operation. Okay, my read emp data. Okay, read employee data. Now you can see here, save it again. You can see the, again you can see the revision history for disk operation, which means operation is also a component. Operation is also a component, that's why you can see the operation revision history for this revision history. Okay, component id, the component id, and when it is created, who are created, all these details you can see. So while in the operation we have a different options. One is the file filter, no file matching type, maximum files to read, delete file if after reading the file. So file filter means here by default star will be there. Okay, by default star will be there. So for example, let's say you have a 10 okay, for 10 files or 100 files. Out of 100 files or 10 files, if you want to pick up only some specific file, if you want to pick up any specific file, then go, we can give the file filter. Okay, we can give the file filter and we can we can pull the data into the, we can pull that specific file into Bhumi. Okay, so now by default file will be there. Okay, sorry, star will be there, which means all the files will going to be full. Okay, right now we have only one file in this directory, that's fine. Okay, again, file matching, or else if you want to give any matching to that particular while pulling that file from the local directories, if you want to give any matching, then we can go with this. Okay, by default I am going with a wildcard. And maximum files to read. Okay, how many per pull, or okay, per execution, how many files you want to read. Okay, if you want to read some specific 10, if you want to read some number of 10, or else 100, or else 1000, like this you can specify. Okay, by default 0 will be there. 0 means all the files will going to be read. Okay, and delete. Okay, after after reading this file from this directory, if you want to delete, this file from this directory, you can check this one. If you check, it is going to be delete. Okay, I'm not going to be delete. Okay, save and close. Now say okay. Now you can see here operation also is configured, and our connection also is configured. And action, so here you can see action means what are the action you want to do, whether you want to get the data from the directory, I mean if you want to get the data, or you are reading the data from the local system, or else application system, or else if you want to send the data to your application system, what is the action you want to doing. So right now we are getting the data, right? We are trying to pull the data. From the local directory, which is nothing but a getting the data. We are trying to read the data. That's why we are action is get. Okay, now add the stop shape over here. Now test it. Now save. Now do the testing. So how we can do the test? Here we have a test, right? Here you have a
Yes.
test. Click on test. Okay, select the atom. Say okay. Okay, now you can see here it is getting executed. Okay, this is how we can pull the data from the third party application systems to into Bhoomi. Okay, while pulling the data, we need to see here every shape showing as a green color bold mark, which means the process executed smoothly, there is no errors on it. So here what kind of data is available here on the start shape with the here on no data type, what kind of document is available?
Empty.
XM.
Huh? It's an empty document, right? You
Empty.
can see here there is nothing is available. And if I move to next shape, that is my disk shape, now you can see here logs. Okay, you can see it is logs, when it is started as the execution, info, shape, and information, and a message. Okay, now you can see the shape source data. What do you mean by shape source data?
We
Data
can
which is
see
in
that there is
previous shape, which is coming from the previous shape.
Very good. So the data which is coming from its previous shape is nothing but a shape source data. What is here? It's an empty document. Why it is an empty document?
Start shape will create an empty document. Creates
Very good.
an
Here the start shape with no data type is created an empty document to make sure our process is getting executed, right? That this empty document moving forward. Okay, here this empty, whatever the empty document created over here, this empty document moving forward to the next shape. Okay, that is called as an shape source data. And connection data, what do you mean by connection data? The data which we are trying to pull or push from the application. Okay, the data from the we are connecting to this application, which is nothing but a disk, right? We are trying to pull the data from our local directories. We configured connection. You can see the connection. This is our directory connection. From this directory we are pulling the data. And see here the file name, this is employee.xml. This is a file name, from this we are pulling. So the data, see, this is the data which we are trying to pull the right from the, this is the data which is available from our local directory. Yes or no? This is the data or not? First
yes.
name, last name, location. You can see here first name, last name, location. So this is the data we are trying to pull from our local directories. So this data is nothing but a connection data, the data which we are getting from the connection third party application, which is nothing but a connection data. Okay, so now this is how we can pull the data. we can establish the connectivity. We need to do the operation configuration. According to that, the data will going to be pulled or push. So now we are pulling the data from our local directories. And now tell me, what is the shape source data for this stop ship? What is the shape source data for this stop ship?
XML. Read data from the disk, whatever the data coming from that disk.
Very good. So see, so now here we are trying to pull the data. Now we pulled the data from the local directory. This is the data is available now. So this is the data we are going to process further. Okay, this is the data we are going to process further. Okay, this data is moving forward to the next ship. So which is nothing but a shape source data for this stop ship. Okay, if I click on the shape source data on the stop ship, you can see the XML file. You can see the XML file. Okay, so now we have a two types of logs. One is the shape level logs and another is process level logs. Where we can find the process level logs? Here we have a
View log.
view log. Go to view log. You can see complete detail, initializing the shape. Okay, starting with no data type. Okay, one document is getting executed with 24 milliseconds. Then it is the process control is going to the its subsequent shape, which is disk shape. Read the data from a disk. Okay, disk connection, and it is executing the connector shape, right, with a one document and a disk connection. Get execute a disk get, loading the disk connection and operation, reading file from this directory. You can see reading the file from this directory, right. After that it is getting employee. XML is equals to do it find. So it is validating whether it is true or not, whether the particular file is there or not, and found the one file to read and reading that file. After that it is sending into the next shape is that is shape. So this is how we can see the complete details. Okay, complete details. Clear till here? Anyone have any questions or any doubts till here? Yes. So
Pawan,
this is
just
what,
as of now, just we can read the data from the disk, right? We can pull the
yes,
data as of now. Just you can
yeah,
connect with the disk and you can read the data from the disk, right?
yes.
As
So
of now.
because
Yeah.
the action is get, we are trying to read the data. That's why we given action as get, and we are established the connection and we established the operation. We are trying to do that according to that. Okay. Till here, anyone have any questions or anyone have any doubts or anyone have not understood anything? Indira, Sirisha, Prashant, Prasanna, Abhinav, Vamshi, Anu, Soha, Meghana, and Meghana, Amani.
రికార్డింగ్ స్టాప్ చేయండి ఒకసారి.
Yeah, just give me a second. Okay, if you don't have anything, I will stop the recording, guys. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and ask the question. If you don't have anything, I will going to stop the recording.